My name is Edward Mbeche, CEO and founder of Helen Super App. Today, I have an awesome guest named Jack Gibson. Hopefully, I don't mess up the last name. Jack Gibson is an international serial entrepreneur and financial thought leader. He began his journey, with my English as a second language. Sometimes I mess up the word. He began his journey at the age of 19 in direct sales from his college dorm room in a nutrition distribution company, and where he built a multi-million-dollar venture before he was old enough to even rent a car. And after a series of stock market setbacks, he became obsessed with learning everything about real estate investing and built another multi-million-dollar portfolio generating passive income. Jack, welcome to the show.
Thanks so much for having me on, Edward. I'm excited to be here and share with your audience. Thanks so much.
That's awesome to have you. And I know we met on LinkedIn and kind of just trying to learn about each other a little bit. Let's do this for people who maybe have not heard of Jack Gibson. And sometime when you Google, there's some other Jack Gibson pop up. So let's make you separate from the other Jack Gibson, right? Jack, where did you go?
Let's go back. Jack Gibson, please stand up.
I know, exactly. Yeah, let's do this. Let's give a little history about like where you grew up and and go way back. Maybe like when you were a kid, were you into like a lot of us, like probably when we were growing up, we were doing like newspaper rap, right? Like selling lemonade or something. Like, what's your story? Where you grew up?
Yeah, I grew up kind of on a farm almost. I didn't live on a farm, but my mother grew up on a farm, with her parents. So we were there all the time. So my mom drilled into me, the farm work ethic. And she had all these kind of sayings. I mean, she told me so many times, many hands make light work, make hay while the sun shines. I don't know. She had all these,
all this,
euphemisms. And and so she gave me a really good foundation to build success from. And when I was 19, it was kind of a pivotal moment, I would say, in my entrepreneurial, startup and journey. I was working on my uncle's farm. I was clear. He had just bought a bunch of acreage and he had like 500 acres, really large operation.
Wow.
And he bought a few acres. So I went down and I would clear all the debris off, sticks and, everything that had been cleared off from chopping down all the forest. Right. And it was terrible work. I mean, it was really awful. It was probably the most awful work that I've ever done in my life.
Yeah.
And I was out there by myself in the hot sun, and just every time I threw a stick into the woods, felt like a little leprechaun was like throwing it right back onto the end of the wood, onto the ground.
Yeah.
It just was never ending.
Yeah.
And so I get done, I turn in my timesheet. He gives me $100, 20 hours of work. And I'm like, this is terrible.
Yeah.
This is absolutely terrible. And in the meantime, I just started in my health and nutrition direct sales business. I just gotten started and I made a sale for $200 and I made 50% profit. So I made $100 and that took me about 30 minutes. Right.
And
so
the short time, then the farm thing.
Yeah. So I'm like, okay, clearly profits are better than wages is the great business philosopher Jim Rohn drilled into me. And I said, this is it. I'm not working for anybody else the rest of my life. I don't want somebody else dictating what I can make. And I don't want this, I just don't want to work hourly wage type jobs.
Yeah.
And that was a line in the sand and I've never gone back.
Wow.
I'm 44 now. That was 25 years ago.
Yeah.
And that was the last time that I've ever like worked for somebody. So I just started building that business and hustling and making sales. And by the time I was 21, I was a junior in college. I had built up $1 million business.
Wow.
It was a lot of hard work. I mean, I hustled like crazy, working all the way, till midnight most nights, and then waking up early and going to class and then studying, and then I was just hustling like crazy. So I saved up $50,000, and remarkably, as a college student, I didn't spend it.
At that time, actually, that was a lot too, right?
Well,
That's
yeah, I mean, that'd
yeah,
probably be, 100, in
yeah,
today's dollars, right?
yeah,
So, what did I do? I wanted to grow my money. I wanted to be a millionaire by the time I was 30. That was my goal. So I put it all in the stock market as what I was told to do
yeah,
by whoever tells you what to do.
yeah, yeah,
And the market, that was 2000, and the market just crashed, and I was all in tech stocks. So the
yeah,
market crashed, dot-com bubble burst, and my $50,000, and I could have had incredible parties,
yeah,
Edward. I
yeah,
mean,
yeah.
you imagine with 50 grand as a college kid, the type of fun I could have
You could
had.
have had so much
Yes.
fun,
Oh,
but
and we
with the
threw
stock
great
market,
parties. I
yeah,
could have
yeah,
thrown a lot better, bigger,
yeah.
more fun, like
Just have fun with it. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
yeah, and so that was a really tough time because I watched that money kinda disappear. I mean, it dropped in half, and
yeah.
I thought to myself, "Gosh, like, what just happened? I was
Mhm,
doing what I'm supposed to do,
mhm.
what I've been trained to do, and it just was terrible." And at that time now I can take a $25,000 hit. In fact, I do on a
Yeah,
regular basis now, and those don't bother me at all.
yeah, yeah,
But back then, when it's half of your net worth, it's incredibly, frustrating.
yeah,
So then I just said, "Okay." I dug in, and I just went back to the basics, and I just said, "Okay, I'm just gonna focus on building my own business. I'm not investing into other people's businesses.
mhm,
Everything is going into number 1, which is
yeah,
my business."
yeah,
So I just kinda changed my philosophy around, and then on the money that I did get as I started building up excess cash back up, I put it into very safe things. I learned my lesson. I said, "I'm
yeah,
gonna protect this money."
mhm,
So I put it into things that were very safe, that could deliver additional streams of income. Like I put it into self-storage. I started renting out property. I started just buying up things that would hold their value in most circumstances.
So
And that would also,
let's go back a little bit. So
yeah,
now, so you're here. You're 21 still. You're still in college when you lost your at least half of your value of your money,
it was
right?
my 20, by age 22, I was a senior in college. So I was just about to
Okay,
graduate.
you're about to graduate.
Yeah.
Okay, but with this, did you end up paying your college off, or did you still have, did you have still like some loan from school, also from college, or
Yeah.
were
Yeah.
you
I didn't have any college debt. It was already
okay?
all taken care of.
Okay. So you lose the money and you're about to leave college.
Yeah.
So in this, you're trying to think, but you're still working for the nutrition company, right?
Yep.
You're still
Yep.
okay. So close to when you're about to leave college, did you leave college and then kind of did you pull the money first, the money that was left? Did you end up pulling out of the market, or did you
Yeah.
leave, or did they convince you? No, leave. It's gonna go back.
Well, that would have been the smart thing, is to not sell in a down market, right?
Mhm,
But the problem is that I was then out into the real world. I
mhm.
graduated from college.
Yeah,
I bought a home with the other money that I had left.
yeah.
I I was paying bills now, like, as a real adult. And I never forecasted that my business would also drop at the same time.
Hmm.
We had
The
some
dot
events.
com bubble. Yeah. Mhm.
Yeah, we had some events that happened in our business that just the market kind of conditions turned against us. And that business, my business dropped as well. So I wasn't giving myself any emergency fund or any cash runway to, like, live in the real adult world, right? Because when I'm in
Mhm.
college, it's pretty lean. You can live pretty cheap, but
Yeah.
as you graduate, you need to have more money. So I ended up having to sell all of my stocks off to have the cash to be able to maintain my life.
Yeah. Yeah. So let's go back to your uncle who put you in this 500,000. Wait, is it 500 acres? I'm about to say 500,000, 500 acres. in a way, the way my mind is going, I'm like, you know what? We should thank him, like, because you know why? He exposed to this hard work, and you're like, whoa, I need to wake up really quick and learn something really, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Otherwise, if I feel like if you did not have this experience from whatever you like with this acres where he have you working so hard, probably you will end up finding a later stage, maybe like in your 30, then you're like, whoa, I don't want to do this. But probably that was a good lesson also to learn from just the hard work from the farm.
Yeah, absolutely. I have no there's no negativity. I mean, he was like a second father to me, right? He didn't have any kids of his own.
Mhm.
And, he ended up giving us a nice inheritance when he passed. So, I'm like, okay, all's forgiven, right?
Yeah.
No, I'm kidding. But, yeah, he taught me a lot about entrepreneurialism because
Yeah.
I had the rich dad, poor dad scenario.
Yeah.
And not to say that my real father, he wasn't poor by any stretch.
Yeah.
He did, he did well. We had everything we wanted growing up, but he was always in a job,
Yeah.
right? And, he was always dictated of how much he could make. And then on the other side, there was my wealthy
Uncle.
uncle, the
Mhm.
entrepreneur. I mean, he had a
Yeah.
farming business. He had 3 different businesses,
Yeah.
and when he passed, he was a multi-millionaire. So it really taught me looking at the 2, paths that they both took. One took a career as a, an insurance business, investigating arson crimes, where people start fires, and
Yeah.
we try to figure out whether they did it on purpose or
Yeah.
was it
Yeah. Yeah.
accidental, right? So he was very good at that, but I could see like real wealth was built from having
Building.
businesses.
Yeah.
It was very apparent.
Yeah. So you get out of college. The business that you have also is kind of going is slowing down because this bubble, the .com bubble.
Mhm.
You buy a house. So you like what 22, 23 something, and which is like is always very. I guess it's like one of those things is like not a lot of 23 or 24 like buying houses, right? Even at that time. So this thing is big. Um, so from there, where did you go with that business? Because now I'm looking at like this indestructible wealth management that you have. I'm trying to figure how long
Mhm.
did you run this nutrition company to the point where you decided to go into to indestructible wealth management.
Yeah, so that's a great question. So the nutrition business, I'm still involved in it today, just
Okay.
on a part-time basis. It's a
Mhm.
very successful operation. It's doing very well. In about the year 2015, again, I got back into the stock market finally, and I was again,
With
my
a little
business.
bit more with more information this time.
Yeah, with more information, but, so I was running, options, and I made a lot of money, with stock options, but then the underlying stocks, they were volatile, and one of them just crashed, and then the other one that I had, it got shorted by a big, hedge fund. So both those stocks dropped, and those were my big positions. So then I'm like, "Oh, man, again, stock market gets me again."
Yeah.
So I said, "Okay, this is just a sign from above. I'm gonna take it as as a clear, distinct message that I need to learn other ways to invest." So that pushed me to do real estate, and I'm very grateful for that because I don't think without that adversity, without that stock dropping twice, that I don't think I would have taken the energy and focus and time to go learn real estate. I would have just done what everybody else does. So I started buying up rental properties, and getting really, really strong returns. So then I started sending other people to my turnkey provider. And I'd sold before I knew it, after a first year, I'd sold like 5 million in cash. And I made some really good money, a few hundred extra $1,000 part time. So I decided to start a real estate company, and I brought in a partner. And so we still have that company today called High Return Real Estate, and we sell properties to investors, and we also build our own inventory of buy and hold properties for ourselves as well. So that company's been going 7 years. But what I found, Edward, about 2 years ago is that I was really missing fulfillment. Like I was making good money in my businesses, but I was really missing fulfillment. And so in the whole lockdowns of 2020,
Mhm.
I I had gone through some traumatic experiences a couple years prior. I had some financial I had 2 financial felonies that were committed against me that
Mhm.
where they were actually like real felonies.
Wow.
You know, like
Okay.
the people went to jail or we won a lawsuit type thing.
Wow. Wow.
And that was very traumatic. And it just caused me to pull back.
Mhm.
And I kind of got out of the business world for a year and I just played golf. We got a boat. I hung out with my kids, right? I just said, I'm out.
Yeah.
I'm checking out for a bit.
Yeah.
I need some time to recover. And
Mhm.
in that time, when you have this chance to like kind of be out in nature and I was just out golfing every day, it just started hitting me. I'm really missing something. Like, what is wrong? I'm having great success, but I'm just feeling very empty inside. And
Yeah.
so I really kind of drew it all back and realized that I wasn't living to my purpose, and my purpose in life. I wasn't put here to make money. I wasn't put here to sell real estate. I was put here to mentor other younger men and women. And that's when I get the most fulfillment and I feel most lit up. So, Indestructible Wealth was created as a platform to teach other people, yes, about finances and money and a different way to go about building up your wealth to where it can be more indestructible. It's not going to be so much hinged upon the whims of the markets. And I just started teaching my philosophy, and that's what I'm doing to this day. Is most of my time is spent on indestructible wealth and teaching other people, but at the same time it's also a great platform for me to generate interested leads that would like to be a part of my other businesses, maybe in some of my investments or real estate or direct sales business, whatever makes sense for the people that are following me and that I'm mentoring.
Yeah. We're gonna talk a little bit, like we'll talk maybe private about this boarding. You mentioned about playing golf and boarding. I'm thinking like in Lake Michigan over there, just enjoying your boat.
Yeah, it's
But
great.
that's awesome. But so to mention actually, like I heard of this also one time. I was listening to an interview about with Jamie Foxx was talking about uh like you can have all the money but you're always going to feel like something is empty missing because you need something, because money does not answer everything. It's not the answer for everything, right?
No,
So
no,
like
not
you're
at
saying,
all.
yeah, like you're saying, like you had all this money, you're having all the fun and all that, but it's like something is missing because you see, like it's good to help people, and also it's like you're bringing joy into them, right? So it's like it filled you also with joy, like, hey, I'm
Yeah,
helping people. Like he was talking about, like he just won a Grammy, and he's in Miami in this yacht just enjoying himself, and he, like, all these people are there just celebrating with him, but he felt like empty because all these people around him, they are more like yes man, or like give me this, give me that, give me this.
yeah,
He's the only one. So he felt like by helping other people, actually that made him more fulfilled uh, with, I guess, life purpose or something like that. So which is awesome. So let's get to this, like training with your company right now, right? With the indestructible wealth.
mhm.
I keep saying indestructible wealth management.
Oh,
I
it's
don't-
fine.
okay, okay. So
You could add on whatever you want. It's fine.
indestructible, uh, indestructible wealth
Yeah,
group or
yeah,
whatever management. So in my head, like I have seen, oh, I have heard a lot of programs that they teach people how to get worth or creating passive income on real estate. But every time I look at these programs, a lot of these programs are designed for middle class, like for people who like to get in. Is not really designed for poor people. There's a lot of poor people who live like check to check, right? Right, where they're like, "Well, as soon as I get this money, I need to pay electricity, I need to pay my carpet, I mean, it's like the money is gone, food
yeah,
gone, whatever."
yep.
How do you end up translating helping these people who are paid check by check instead of the middle class. People are like, oh, I have a 401k. I'm saving this little money for my kid to college. That's how this program always feel like. How do you bridge that gap into really helping people that really need?
Well, it's a 5-step process that I recommend, or it's kind of like the baseline foundational plan of
Mhm.
indestructible wealth.
Mhm.
So it doesn't matter where you start. I started my business journey with $300 when I first got started in college, right?
Yeah.
So indestructible wealth to me is more of a mindset that no matter what happens in the markets, in your life, in your business, that that deep down inside, you have this belief that no matter what happens, that you can make it happen, right?
Mhm.
And so it's not so much that indestructible wealth is, I don't think that's really even possible, because like I know a guy who was worth 20 million and then he had something really bad happen in his business, an accident, and then he was negative 20 million in net worth. I had him on my podcast, right?
Wow. Wow.
So you would have thought that he had indestructible wealth when he had $20 million, but he really didn't. So I'm not naive to think that my wealth can't ever just go away, because there's certain events that could happen that could take it all away.
Mhm.
And what I do know is that I could get it all back, because I have the belief system and I have the plan in place to where I could do it all over again if I had to. So it looks like this. There's 5 stages. Stage 1 is you invest into yourself.
Mhm.
So this is where you're putting money into developing your real estate between your ears, right? The most important real estate
What
is your
does
mind.
what does that mean when you say? Mhm.
Books, coaches, courses, seminars, self-education.
Yeah.
It's saying, it's drawing a line in the sand and saying traditional education can only get me so far. Self-education is what's going to help me make a fortune.
Mhm.
So, for example, when I was in college at age 19, 20 years old, right? I was about a year or two into my business. I was making money. I put about $1,000 into the Napoleon Hill Foundation, which he wrote the book Think and Grow Rich, the most
Mhm.
successful personal development book of all time. And there was a foundation where they had a coaching program. It was $1,000. Well, it's a lot of money for a 20-year-old to put into to themselves. Most college kids will never do that.
Yeah.
I did that, and that was an incredible investment, because what I learned from that is still paying dividends today,
Mhm.
right? So it's this total deep down commitment and belief to keep making yourself 1% better every single day, and that does require an investment of money and time and effort into yourself to develop that.
Mhm.
And then, so stage 2, this is where you build your own cash flow producing business. This is straight out of the Rich Dad Poor Dad playbook.
Yeah.
Build a successful cash flow producing business. Work on reducing your taxes, because there's so many strategies that business owners have that employees do not have, that simply benefit you in terms of the tax code and reducing your amount of taxes so you can grow wealth faster
Yeah.
and keep more of your money. And then stage 3 is you take your excess cash flow from stage 1 and 2 and you put it into safe cash flow producing investments. This is the step that most entrepreneurs go wrong, to be honest.
Mhm.
Because what happens is the mentality of an entrepreneur is typically, their personality is aggressive. They take chances, they take risks. To be successful in business, you've got to be aggressive, you've got to take risk, you've got to go for it, right?
Yeah.
Whereas in investing, it's usually the opposite. Most of the time you take those risks, those things don't simply work out. And then what the other problem entrepreneurs have is that they think that, okay, so I was successful by taking risks and being aggressive in my business. They think that translates into investing, and it typically the two skill sets are almost polar opposites. So it's very difficult for entrepreneurs to place successful investments because of this mentality of risk taking and gambling and aggressiveness. And so what I see happen, and I've seen it happen a lot, even this
Mhm.
past couple of years, is a lot of younger entrepreneurs were getting a hold of a lot of cash when the economy was booming and all the free money was hitting the economy and the stimulus checks and the money printing and everybody was making money.
Yeah.
And so they were going out there buying NFTs and and risky
Bitcoins and all
crypto
that. Yeah.
and e-com stores. I know 100 people that spent 45 grand on an e-com store and none of them have anything to show for it.
Wow.
So this is what happens.
Mhm.
And I know people that are texting me, they're like, I'm down 90, 100 grand. I bought 2 e-com stores and I'm down 100 grand. And like, what do I do? And I'm like, I don't know what to tell you what to
Yep.
do.
Yep.
Like, you learn from it and you start investing into things that I've been telling you about for the last 2 years that you
Yeah.
skipped over because they weren't exciting.
But I guess maybe it's not only things that are exciting. I guess like there's a lot of this notion of uh, what is the thing called get rich quick scheme, right? So
Yeah,
people they're always looking for an easy way out kind of
of
thing. So
course.
and those are the one who always end up getting burned because you did not take the time or just kind of even kind of learning. Let's go back into there are a few things that I know you've been in real estate now for a while. So you mentioned about the education, of course, like there's so much information right now and real you can even watch maybe YouTube videos to learn about real estate, so much stuff going on in there. And also books, uh, buying books and seminar. Although seminar, I'm not really big on seminar because seminar always felt like I have been to a couple seminars, like where it always turns out it's like a sales pitch. Like you
Mhm.
do the seminar and they're trying to force you into buy. You buy this right now, you're saving 25% or 50%.
Sure.
So is that also like what do you suggest? Because I don't know, like about seminars with your teaching, how the teaching is this more set up like a seminar video, how do you do this?
Yeah, I haven't run a live seminar yet.
Mhm.
I hope to in the future.
Mhm.
And a lot of those were sales training type seminars, how to become better at sales and marketing, mindset and personal development type seminars. I was going to Tony Robbins, Jim Rohn. I heard multiple times. Um, you know, really James Ray, who he was on Oprah, featured in the book The Secret.
Yeah.
These are really, great minds that were philosophies that were teaching me. So yeah, and I understand what you're saying. Like there are times where seminars are going to give you the upsell pitch, and of course they have to. That's their business model. They don't
Yeah.
really make that much money off of selling seminar tickets,
Yeah.
right? So yeah, that's to me, it's a combination of all of those things. I hired a business coach to teach me one to one. Yeah, my library is stacked full of books over here. If you could see the camera, it's like
Mhm.
I've got my own library here in my office.
Mhm.
So I've invested heavily into all those types of things. And I can't tell you that's the problem, Edward. The problem with investing into yourself is you can't quantify it. So in other words, like if I buy a piece of real estate, I mean, I can tell you, okay, that made 10% or made 20% or whatever. I can quantify that. Whereas with investing into myself, I can never quantify it. I can't tell you how much I've made from it. All I know is if you took all that away, I wouldn't be where I'm at today. I wouldn't have the earning power that I have today. There's not even no question about it.
Yeah.
So to me, investing into yourself just creates this incredible ability to make money in whatever you set your mind that you're going to be able to that you want to do. I've been
Yeah.
able to make money in vastly different industries because a lot of the principles are very similar in terms of how you go about it and how you build teams and your mindset and ability to withstand adversity. You've simply got to be mentally tough.
Yeah.
Mental toughness is probably the most important characteristic that you can really cultivate inside of yourself because things are just simply not always going to work out the way you think that they're going to go.
Yeah. 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 You talk about also I know my mind is like all over. Another thing I wanted to mention to ask actually. So as as now like kind of helping other people uh in, about creating worth, right? Or passive income. Do you end up with this program? Like let's say you want to bring them into real estate, right? Do you end up kind of training them and also maybe investing into their into their program into whatever that you're training them to do, or is it more like, hey, I'll teach you this, now you go do it yourself?
Yeah, everything totally depends on where they're at,
Okay.
in the various stages.
Mhm.
So to finish the stages real quick, stage 4 is where you can get more aggressive and you can kind of do a bit of gambling, so to speak. This is where you take, because you've got incredible foundation built on stages 1, 2, 3, right?
Yeah.
You've cultivated a mental toughness and a positive mind. Stage 2, you've built up a nice cash flow producing business. Stage 3, you've got multiple streams of income coming in from safe passive investments. So now stage 4, you take all those streams of passive income, and then that's when you get risky. You can speculate with them because you're playing with house money, so to speak,
Mhm.
right? In the gambling world, right? That's the thing you do, is you protect your chips. Is that when you go up and you're gambling, you take your original betting chips off the table and you just play with your winnings. Well, that's what you're doing here. You're playing with your winnings, so that if those investments don't work out, that's the tech stocks, that's the early stage pre-IPO companies. Those are the private, type of higher risk type private investments that you can get into. It's the crypto altcoins. Those are the things that you can then, invest into, because if they don't work out, it's okay. Your money's just going to replenish the next month and then the next month. And then you just you just fire away again. You fire away again, but you have this incredible foundation that your lifestyle will not ever be interrupted, because you have these multiple streams of passive income that are kind of creating a financial fortress, if you will. And then stage 5, it's the give back stage. This is where you give charitable, you give back and just bless other people. And you don't need to go through all 4 stages before you get to stage 5.
Mhm.
But to me, that's the biggest wealth accelerator that I've found, is that when we really started charitably giving consistently, our net worth has gone up like 20 times since then. It's just incredible
Wow.
what happens to how you get blessed in so many ways that it's almost indescribable to be able to tell. And most people, I think that they're missing that component of
Yeah.
giving back, because they want to kind of hold on to everything for themselves.
Yeah.
But money needs to be given to create abundance mindsets and
Mhm.
to bless other people that, just doing the best that they can, but they maybe don't have the abilities or the situation or the circumstances to be able to do what you do.
Yeah. There's someone mentioned this long time ago, saying like, uh to know you're really successful is like when you pass away, to see how many people came to your funeral and how
Yeah.
many people you made them so happy. So this is what in my head, that's what I'm going in my head is like.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, let's do this. Before we go, I know you talk about also how to instill or install the entrepreneur spirit in kids, like, because right now the way I was thinking, like, you got this installed in you, like when you were young, like with this uncle, like your dad kind of learned from this. How do you, at this age right now, because this age is a lot of the um young kids who are more motivated by uh, getting viral, to go viral on TikTok, to go viral on Instagram, whatever.
Yeah.
But then what? After that going viral, then what is it like? Right? Oh, now I gotta make another video to go viral again. Like what? So how do you install? I mean, for this new age or new, I guess it's like, yeah, we can say that. How do you prepare kids for this kind of, to install that entrepreneurial spirit in them, instead of just be like, hey, uh, go to college, get a good job, and
Yeah. I know I need a lot of work as a parent. I mean, I'm doing the best that I can, right? But I do tend to get focused a lot on my own businesses and the things that I'm up to. And so I do a few things though. Number one is that I play games with my kids, like Monopoly, the cash flow board game, to try to teach them some of the basic fundamentals in a fun way. Now they're teenagers, they're a lot harder to track down and get them
yeah,
off their electronics to do that, but we
yeah,
did do that a lot.
Yeah.
One of my sons, he films all of my videos, short form videos for me. So he gets to kind of hear it, everything that I have to say there. And then we openly talk about money. We talk about business and money, and there's not a secret. It's not a secret. I don't keep secrets from them on terms of that. I want them to be exposed to that. One time, one of my kids got into the car and said, you know, one of the kids said, because you drive a Tesla, Dad, that we're rich. And I said, well, here's the thing, John. I said, I'm rich. You're broke. How much is in your bank account? I said, you're broke. I said, I'm rich. You're not rich.
Yeah.
You have to
Yeah.
build it for yourself.
Yeah.
If you want to be wealthy, you're going to have to do it yourself. I'm not handing you anything.
Yeah.
So those are just some of the philosophies and things that we do. What I'm going to do, my plan is, I read a book called The Intentional Father, and it talks about how you can really just dive in with more of like a structured curriculum and program to help prepare your kids for, manhood, right? So I'm going to put my sons through a program. This will probably be about 2 years in length. There'll be a prize at the end of it. Maybe like they get money towards their car or something if they complete it, so that they have a carrot. But I'm going to do a deep dive mentorship program with my own kids that's very structured, so that I make sure that I can say when they graduate and they go out into the real world, that I did everything that I could to prepare them for what they're up against, because the marketplace is tough. Life is very tough. There's things that are going to just really come unexpectedly and knock you down that you could have never seen coming. I would have never thought that I'd had 3 financial felonies committed against me. I'm a good Christian dude.
Yeah.
I love people. I help people. I'm giving. I don't deserve that. Didn't deserve it, but it happened.
Yeah.
And so I have to be able to deal with that. And I have to be able to teach my sons how to deal with those types of situations when they do happen to them, because we're not going to escape the tough times.
Yeah. 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 The real world is like they say, it's like an ocean, right? It's like with a bunch of waves. Get hit with a different wave, but so it's the way you just prepared. How do you keep going, right?
Exactly.
Jack.
I do want to answer your question, though. I was going to kind of backtrack to it. What do I do with people that are, how do I handle them? Do I present real estate to them or what? A lot of times they're not there at that stage yet where they're ready for real estate. So I'm not going to push people into something that I don't think is the right move for them where they're at the time. Right. I'm coaching a young kid who's he's making $700 a month. Right. And he's just got a few wholesale real estate deals done. So now he's got 20,000 in the bank. And so I'm working with him to keep figuring out how to keep growing that business, getting more deals done so he can stack up more cash. And then we'll go out and buy a property when the time is right. And then I'm working with a couple that's making 600 grand a year and they're spending $600,000 a year. So there's no investable dollars.
Yeah.
So they can't do real estate really either right now. Right. So we're working with them on, okay, so first guy, young kid, I'm working on him. How do we increase your income? Let's just focus on increasing your income. We don't need to worry about investing right now. Let's make more money. And then the other couple, they're making plenty of money. We got to reduce your spending. Right. And then I got another client who is making $1 million a year. He spends maybe $200,000 a year. So he has an incredible surplus of cash that he can then invest. So we're doing all kinds of stuff. I'm getting him set up in self-storage syndication. That's private, off the market, investing into bigger deals that return bigger profits and have less management that you need to do. I'm helping him build his real estate portfolio. I'm helping him get into crypto. I'm helping him to save on his taxes. Like there's so many different things that I can coach people on, but it all depends on where are they at in the sequence of building wealth. Let's not skip steps. Let's not do things that don't make sense for where you're at right now. We're going to build this the right way on a solid foundation so that you can build up your own financial fortress, have multiple streams of passive income from different safe assets, have all those stages going.
So awesome, Jack.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. This is so awesome. A lot of good information here, and hopefully we brought a lot of good value to listener. How can people find you?
Yeah, that's a great question, Edward. Everything is housed on my website, myindestructiblewealth.com.
Mhm.
I have 105 podcast episodes, it's called The Indestructible Wealth Show.
Yep.
Um, I think it's a great show. I have solo episodes. I have amazing guests.
Yeah.
I have two books. I have a free ebook, and then I have my longer book called Building Indestructible Wealth.
Mhm.
And then on top of that, I have courses. I have two courses, a basic and an advanced course, depending on, where somebody's at in their journey. All of that is right there. And I'm very heavy on Instagram and TikTok. You can find me at Indestructible Wealth on those channels. And I love the engagement. I love when people ask me questions, and I love to help other people, whether I make money and that works out, like in a coaching relationship or not. I'm not really, as I've said, it doesn't really matter that much. I mean, of course, I want to make money. I want to get paid for my value and expertise. But
Yep.
at the end of the day, I'm here for fulfillment. I want to help people.
That's so awesome. Thank you so much again, Jack. I know
Yeah.
we're gonna talk more because I want to come. We're gonna play golf, but probably I'm gonna spend more time in your boat.
All right, let's
kind
do
of
it.
on your boat, kind of riding around. But
Yeah,
thank you
let's
so
play
much
some
again.
golf. All right.
Yep.
Thanks, Edward. Appreciate
I
it.
really appreciate it.